Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of the Real Industries podcast, where we have conversations with real people who have real skills working in real jobs. Today's topic is all about digital marketing, and we're thrilled to be joined by Ollie Barani, a digital marketing consultant with over 22 years of experience in the industry. Specializing in Google and SEO, Ollie has a proven track record of growing organic traffic and ranking websites for many of his clients. Passionate about staying ahead of the curve when it comes to Google's ever-evolving algorithms, Ollie has carved a niche in the medical and financial landscape and continues to provide meaningful results with his data-driven strategies. If you're somebody looking to get into the digital marketing industry, this episode is one you won't want to miss, as we cover the difference between traditional and digital marketing strategies, what it's like to work in a digital marketing agency versus being a freelancer, the impacts of AI, and the easiest way aspiring marketers can get started in digital marketing. So, without further ado, let's get the conversation started. Ollie Barani, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm bloody good. I've just had a coffee and ready and raring to go, and wanting to just share my words of wisdom and advice to the people out there.
Yeah, well, you have been in this space for a really long time. And I think to kick us off, I really wanted to ask you your thoughts on what digital marketing actually is and how it differs from traditional marketing that we used to know back in the day.
Good question. So the way that I like to think about it, you've got your traditional marketing where it's psychology, knowing what makes people tick, and then just getting more eyeballs. With online marketing, you've got to know all that, plus a little bit more in terms of tech. So what I want you to imagine, just so you can visualize it, just imagine a set of domino pieces. If you line them all up, you can execute things so that everything falls the way that you want it to. So you would start off with the sales domino that relies on the marketing domino, and the marketing domino relies on tech. So knowing the basics, you can just push everything and everything will fall your way.
Okay, and can you explain a little bit more about the role of a digital marketer and like what skills you think are necessary for success in this role?
Sure. Like what we mentioned before, psychology is very important, just knowing what makes people tick.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you influence what people click on? How can you influence what people feel? So that's very important. Connecting that with sales. So especially even in my role, I always seek feedback from the sales team, because you can have the best ideas out there, but your feedback loop is finding out, okay, how's the sales team actually doing as a result of the work that you're doing.
Right.
And then just connecting that with tech stack, like we were talking before. You don't have to be the nerdiest person out there, but you do have to know or understand how the puzzles fit together. So psychology, sales, tech, and really just fitting all of those together. You are, in essence, a conductor.
Yeah, right. And orchestrating all of that. And I guess in your current role too, you're constantly talking with all those different teams, right? Are you talking to sales a lot?
That's it.
And then do you have to talk to the tech team a lot?
All the time.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you can, like I said before, you can have the best ideas, but those ideas need to be translated in some way or some form via a tech platform or via technology.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to translate those really good ideas into how do I plug into the CRM? How do I plug into my advertising platforms? Plug into the people in your wider organization?
Just going back to the tech part that you're talking about here, does that mean you as a digital marketer require coding skills yourself, or how deep does the tech knowledge have to go for the person that is wanting to be a marketer?
So you don't have to, going back to the whole orchestra thing, I don't have to know how to play the guitar or the trumpet or whatever, but I do have to know what outcomes come from that instrument.
Yep.
And as a whole, so if I'm a conductor, I need to be able to conduct the whole team and just say, this is what I'm after. I'm after a beautiful song. And to achieve that, this is how I'm going to organize it.
Okay.
It's really just putting it all together. But no, you don't need to be an IT geek or a guru, but you do have to know how to piece it all together.
Have you had personal experience with those tech stacks and stuff yourself? Or is that something that you've just over time with experience gotten to understand how the role works so you can talk to someone in that role?
I would say the latter. In the early days, coming from a tech support background, that gave me that understanding, okay, this is what's actually happening under the hood.
Yep.
And I would encourage anyone out there wanting to start in this kind of field to really just, you don't want to know the nitty gritty detail, but just a surface level understanding of what's actually involved under the hood tech wise. And then you can move forward in your marketing career.
Yeah, cool. All right. And then going back to like a higher level view of all of this, why is digital marketing considered so important in business today?
It's important because business owners out there, companies out there, they're not concerned on doing what we were just talking about, conducting and making and joining the dots. They're after making money. If you're a salesperson, like, I just want to get the next check. I just want to land my next deal.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a company, you've got broader objectives that you want to achieve. I know, like me personally, working with business owners, they're overwhelmed by what we're talking about. They're overwhelmed by, Google's changed and Facebook's changed.
Yeah.
They're overwhelmed by that. And that's why they need people like us to demystify all of that.
Yep.
And turn it into, if they're looking to make more sales or get more leads, turn those ideas into how to actually join the dots and make that happen.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And you have experience in multiple marketing channels like Facebook, Instagram, AdWords, like in your whole time of doing this sort of role. How does digital marketing differ from platform to platform?
At the moment, I am managing Meta as well as paid search.
And what's the biggest difference between managing both of those? Because they're different.
In essence, it's actually no different, because what I've found is that if you stick to the marketing fundamentals, what am I trying to achieve? Am I working on the top, middle, bottom of the funnel?
Mm-hmm.
You are always wanting to do the same thing.
Yeah.
For me, if I'm wanting to get more leads, I'm doing exactly the same thing on Google as I'm doing on Meta. It's just a different way, different pathway that I'm taking.
I think what I'm really trying to get at is both platforms they've got a different approach to how they reach people, right? So with Google, you're more focusing on search terms that people are putting in. Whereas something like Meta, it's more of an opportunistic flashcard that you're showing people your marketing material by chance. Whereas on Google, you're actually trying to target keywords that people are typing in. So as a marketer, doesn't the role differ significantly on how you actually have to operate?
Again, I would say it doesn't differ for me, because if I look at marketing as one big giant funnel.
Yeah.
Top of funnel, people just in the awareness stage, and then middle of funnel, education, and then bottom of funnel, just get them over the line. That's happening regardless of where you are on Google or Facebook or whatever platform we're talking about.
Yeah.
The only thing that changes is the mechanism that occurs. Is it going to be a keyword that gets people into my funnel, or is it going to be a funny video on Facebook that gets my attention and then gets me into funnel?
Yeah, right. And the core fundamentals, though, are just no different. It's like your job as a marketer is like, does it get the person in the funnel?
That's it.
Okay. That answers the question beautifully for me. All right. Now I want to talk a little bit more about your experience in the type of landscapes that you've actually worked in. So you've done freelance digital marketing, you've worked in an agency setting, and you've also exclusively worked for particular companies, which is predominantly what you're doing now. What sort of impact do these different environments have on the role itself?
So when I worked in the agency life, what I found that I learned quite a lot is systems are important, because you're working at scale. So you can't be umming and ahhing. You've got to just be able to get on with the job and say, from beginning to end, this is what I'm going to do for a client.
Right. And
you learn that quite early on. If you don't have those systems in place, your whole agency life falls apart. I've worked in freelance, as you've said, and again, systems are important in that line of work. You're working usually with a business owner that doesn't know how things work, and by having your systems in place, you can really achieve the outcomes that you're after.
And then, how does that contrast with working in one company, for example? So you're not doing freelancing, you're not working in an agency, you're actually hired as a marketer by a company to be just that for them. How does that differ from everything else?
Well, how that differs is you're not responsible for the whole thing from beginning to end. For example, I am not responsible for making a video creative happen, or making a social post happen, or making a blog article happen. Like, I'm not the person physically making those things.
Hmm.
You're working as part of a wider team. You've got like agreed on objectives, and you've just got to work together as a team to achieve them. What you do find when you're working in-house in a role like that
Hmm.
is that because you're working in such a larger team, you're usually up against a lot of legacy things. So decisions that were made a year ago may still have an impact even now, and you're just working through them.
Hmm.
But you're also thinking ahead for the future. Okay, where do we want to be in the future as a company, and what are the actions that we need to take, and who do we need to engage company-wide to make these things happen?
Right. So do you feel like the environment you're in now is a little bit more relaxed compared to stuff like freelance and agency work?
Definitely. In agency life, usually people wear many hats. I am the photographer, I am the blogger, I'm the advertiser.
Right.
Whereas if you go into an in-house role, it's usually I'm just this, I'm just that, and then you're working as part of the team to
Yeah.
make things happen. Like, don't get me wrong, agency life is good.
Hmm.
You do learn a lot.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's quite easy to get burnt out. So you really need to manage your time well if you want to exceed in that life.
Do you think it's a prerequisite for somebody that wants to be a digital marketer to at least dip their toes in agency work?
I do. I would even go as far as to say that agency life is better than going to uni or doing any course. You learn quite quickly
Yeah.
everything that you need to know.
Right. Because you've got to have a go on all of the tools quite rapidly, right? With all their systems and processes, you've got to pick it up.
That's it.
Okay.
Whereas if you go to uni or you just do like college or a course or whatever,
Mhm.
you get like an academic understanding.
Yep.
But until you're behind the wheel and driving the car, you don't know how to get to where you want to go.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, moving on to some of the more recent advancements that are currently happening right now, particularly AI. What kind of impact do you think AI is going to have on digital marketing going into the future? Like, it's specifically for this next decade, because things are changing pretty damn quick.
They certainly are. Such a good question, Tom. So what I would say in terms of AI is going to be a mandatory part of life. Now, that's just full stop. In every part of life, AI is going to be embedded in what we do. Digital marketing, especially, going to be playing an important role in what we do. The way that I see AI is, say in the 50s, we were told washing machines and all of our household appliances were going to change our lives and save us all of time, and we could just sit back and relax and do nothing.
Mhm.
Now, it didn't actually turn out that way. Why? Because people in the 50s were then expected to do more with the time they had available. And you're going to see that exactly with AI. You are going to be more going to be demanded of you because more time is going to be available.
How the hell is that going to work with when you were just talking about agency life? Like, it sounded like already a lot's being demanded of you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know a lot of copywriters in the early stages of AI, they were out of a job.
Mm.
It's coming back full circle now because the copywriters are learning how to use AI to their advantage.
Yep.
But yeah, for what I'm seeing now, for me, AI is important in terms of not starting with a blank sheet. So in terms of content generation, if I get stuck, I can just stick my brand guidelines into ChatGPT and just get that starting point for a marketing idea or concept. I'm using AI in terms of ad content ideas, but also ad generation. So instead of me just working with a team and saying, okay, can we come up with 10 different ideas? I can come up with 100 different ideas
Mm.
and then plug that into my advertising campaign and just really testing and measuring, okay, this worked, this didn't work, and learning really quickly how you can move the campaign forward. Another good way that I'm using AI is I can put a sheet of data into AI and say, hey, ChatGPT, can you make sense of this data and just make me a chart just to work out what's actually going on. What we're also going to see with Copilot, AI is going to be such a big thing just in terms of Microsoft world. You're going to be able to use the AI assistant to take notes during your video call. So you can use that with a client, take notes of your client calls,
Mhm.
and really just get the gist. It can even do that in live real time. Same idea with your emails and data. For example, if you had a sheet of data, you'll be able to tell your AI assistant, turn this sheet into a chart and turn that chart into a PowerPoint presentation and then send it to your client.
Are you using that kind of stuff now? Or
Yeah, even now.
you're already using that with your client calls?
So
Copilot.
not with my client call, but internally with stakeholders, I'm using that.
Wow.
So whereas I used to have to spend like hours just doing what I just said,
Yep.
within minutes you can just boom, boom, boom.
Presentation. Here we go.
Presentation, have a meeting, and you're done.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? I'm using ChatGPT for everything. I'm
What
almost I'm almost done without it.
about Copilot? Have you used Copilot?
I have, and do you know what? It was just dipping my toes in the water with Copilot, and because I heard that it could help generate apps, and I did. I asked it like, "Hey, can you help me design an app to do X, Y, Z?" And look, to be honest, when I was looking at the code, I couldn't really tell you what it was writing, but it started writing full-on code that I would imagine a developer would need to sit there and write line by line. So seeing this kind of stuff coming forward in every facet, actually, it's just changing the whole landscape, isn't it?
It is. So just going back to that whole conductor idea,
Mhm.
as an online marketer,
Yeah.
you just need to be able to orchestrate all of that so that instead of getting noise, you can turn that into a beautiful stuff.
Yeah. And really quickly too.
That's it.
And in digital marketers specifically, this type of tool is going to come in real handy. It's like what you guys have been needing all this time, really.
It's not only what we need, but we are going to be expected to use it. If we're not using it, then there's no point in being an online marketer.
Yeah, right. The other thing I wanted to touch on too, just in terms of this role, is being a digital marketer relatively flexible in terms of where you can work, like geographically, due to everything being online, or do you need to be in the office with the team? Because you did say before that there's a lot of collaboration that needs to happen, but is it necessary for you to go into the office?
Good question. It's totally flexible in terms of online work.
Mhm.
What I found is that when I started, I was working, like I said, in agency life and working with clients in the UK and in US and in here in Australia. So the world was my oyster. You know, I have mates now that are doing the fully remote thing where they're just working abroad and working with our clients all over the world. So you can just work from home. It's fully flexible.
Mhm.
Indeed, like a lot of the agencies out there, they're already using people from Philippines and from Indonesia and from the other countries around the world. So they're doing that. But what I would say that what I found is that you need to find a balance, because in terms of collaboration, you do need to go into the coal face and just put your ear to the ground, find out what's happening. You can't always get that kind of intelligence just working at home in your bedroom or just working in a cafe.
Yeah.
I would say if you can, just find a way that you can balance it and get a hybrid model working for yourself where you can work with the people in the real world and then balance it out with remote work as well. You will find that as a company and your campaigns you will achieve a lot more by doing that
Yeah.
than just if you just lock yourself in your bed.
Yeah. Do you think that's just because fundamentally we're humans and we need that connection as well to really get
Not on.
Yeah, okay. That makes total sense. And so career path and opportunities, I think you may have already touched on this, but what does the typical career path look like for someone entering digital marketing? How did you get started? Let's start there.
I finished my education and then I just worked for a local web firm.
When you say education, sorry, do you mean just high school education?
I actually went to a tech college.
Oh,
So at the time when I was doing it, digital marketing wasn't offered as a particular course.
right.
It was just very weird.
Digital marketing wasn't born yet. Is that
It
what you
wasn't
mean?
even born. And Google was there, but it wasn't the big thing that it is now. It was
Yeah.
just becoming a thing. So they didn't offer online marketing or digital marketing as a thing that you could do at uni. So what I ended up doing was just a general diploma in online support.
Right.
I learned Linux, I learned Microsoft, just a lot of the bare bones stuff. I then went into a role working in tech support for an agency that led into more SEO and then paid work. What I would strongly advise that people do is the sooner you can just find a local agency to work with, that's the best education that you can get. I think I mentioned this before.
Yeah, you did.
You will learn so quickly, more than you can learn from any uni or any online course. You'll learn quite quickly.
Mhm.
You still need to educate yourself. with different courses out there, but you will learn a lot more just by getting into it. You'll learn a lot more just by getting into it, working for an agency. The other thing that I do want to mention here is the other thing that teaches you is the data teaches you.
Right.
So the data is your feedback loop. So when you're working with a client, you want to look at, okay, what's the information coming from Facebook, coming from Google? I want to look at my Google Analytics. I want to look at all of the tools out, all of the analytics tools out there. That's going to be your guiding tool into moving forward. So you learn a lot from that as well.
Yeah, right. What's actually going on in the data, and then coupling that with the whole marketing domino effect of
That's it.
knowing what makes people tick and how to identify that in the data that you're getting back from the platform.
That's it.
Okay. Right. And you did just say you have to study different courses and stuff like that. What education and training have you done personally that you feel has really moved you forward in this role?
I would have to say, so I did the standard, like in terms of Google, the standard certifications that you can get with Google. So you can just jump online and just type in Google certifications. There's a whole heap of certifications they offer now,
Yep.
where you either pay nothing or just a nominal fee.
Yep.
And you can just really dip your toes and just get a broader understanding online. Another good platform, if you're just starting out, you can look at HubSpot. They've got a good academy that you can look at.
Uh-huh.
What you will also find is if you're working with different platforms, they offer platform-specific education tools as well.
Right.
For example, if you're working with Semrush, they offer education on that. If you're working with HubSpot or AdRoll, which is another platform, each of those platforms in turn, they've got their own little universe of education as well.
Okay. And so would you say studying courses from them will make you look more reputable in the marketplace as opposed to having a degree in digital marketing?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Is that because they offer real world skills? Like it's people that are actually doing the job, putting all of their knowledge into their own platform?
It's that, but also I think the key thing is because online marketing is always changing.
Yeah.
If you just went into a uni and did a degree, by the time you finished it,
It's
the whole online landscape would have changed.
yeah.
You're actually learning. I mean, from 5 years ago.
I actually feel just like that with the IT course I'm studying right now. Yeah. Compared to a lot of the stuff or the technology I'm using today, compared to what they're teaching me back there, it seems a little bit outdated. And I'm guessing with those formal qualifications, to update them regularly, it's not an easy thing for institutions to do, is it? So these other platforms like Google, like SEMrush, like HubSpot, they're able to adjust more quickly because they've not only got real industry data, but they've got the teams in place to do it.
That's it.
Okay?
The other thing I do want to mention, besides the whole tech thing, the soft skills in terms of being able to communicate, in terms of being able to put your ideas visually on a PowerPoint or on a chart, that's just as important as knowing tech stuff as well.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. It's such a big thing, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. And then just to wrap us up, I would like to ask you, you've already given some really great advice throughout this whole episode, but what is your best advice to give to aspiring digital marketers?
Good question.
Like the best piece you got?
2 things. Just get started and be open to change. So one of the things that I would say, just find someone in your local network that needs help online. That could be your mom, it could be someone in your family, just a mate, and then just pick one platform that you're going to get good at. It could be TikTok, could be Facebook, Insta. Just pick one thing and get good at that. Am I going to get good at making funny videos? And am I going to get good at lead gen? Just find one thing that you're going to be good at and then pick a niche. So you don't want to be jack of all trades and dabble in a whole heap of things. So you just want to find one good niche. You know, for me, I've found medical and financial, but more medical being my thing. I'm known for medical marketing, and that's what I do. I've got another mate of mine. He works just with tradies, and that's the thing that he's known for. So find one good niche that you're going to get known for. If you want to learn digital marketing really well and really fast and quickly, find a local agency. That's going to be your baptism of fire, but you will learn systems and you will learn how to scale really quickly.
Yep.
What I want to finish off is always be learning. Digital marketing is always changing. The landscape is changing. Algorithms always changing.
Mhm.
Tech is always changing, and you've got to learn to adapt or die.
Yeah, love that. All right, cool. And for anybody that's listening that wants to learn a little bit more about you and your experiences, where can we send them?
Just go into Google, type in my name, jump on LinkedIn, and I will be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, sweet. We'll leave all of your links in the show notes as well.
Perfect. Good to talk to you, Tom.
Yeah, you too, Ollie. Thanks so much for joining. And yeah, anybody that wants to catch up with Ollie, go to the description of this video and we'll put all of his links in there. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's episode and subscribe for more industry content in future. Catch you next time.